This week, I'm chatting to Jonathan from Venues to learn all about how this invaluable department acts as the bones of our operation, finding all the right places to house our fundraisers as they do their incredible work. Jonathan takes us through everything from the diverse roles within their department to the impact of the cost of living crisis on both venues and fundraisers in general. Hello, Jonathan. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of the Daily Fundraise. We're going to be talking about all things venues. I know you guys are really busy in your department, as we all are in Charity Link. So we'll crack on and you can let me know everything that you know and want to share. So tell me about the role of venues in a nutshell, sort of what's the purpose of venues in our company?
So the whole purpose of venues is to ensure that all of our private site fundraisers have got somewhere each day to go and do their fundraising. Sounds pretty simple, but that is the whole point, is to make sure all our fundraisers who are working on private site have got a good place to go and do fundraising. And on that, we want to make sure the fundraisers not only have somewhere to go, but somewhere they can achieve their targets as well.
Excellent. And so within your team, how many people are in the venues team and sort of roughly who does what?
Oh, you catch me out on the exact sort of number. So we've got quite a wide ranging team. So we have probably, I'd say, three main tranches of the team. So we have our venue finders who go out and they book stalls and book venues for our fundraisers face to face. Then we also have the venues team. So we've got venue management team and venue supports. So what we're doing is we're managing the venues, managing the booking streams, and supporting the admin side of things. We've also got venue bookers. So we've got people whose job it is to call stores all day, booking in our fundraising to stores. And then we've also got the show team as well, who book all our shows. So it's
do you know any of their names?
I know everyone's name.
Of course you do. So who do you think, who's got the best job out of everybody, do you think? Is there anybody that you think, oh, you've got a really awesome job, I wish I did your job, or do you have the best job?
I think everyone, a lot of the roles are very similar. I think our venue finders who go out and our venue bookers who spend all their time just doing that one task, I think what they do is really valuable and really important. And their perseverance is really valuable. I don't think anyone's got a particularly like one person's job's more amazing than anyone else's. I think everyone in the department's kind of found their niche and what they like doing.
And do you feel that you're sort of the unsung heroes of the business in a way? Do you feel like the fundraisers kind of know the depth of and how complex the department sounds?
I don't think we're unsung at all. I think we're just trying to be a department that are just doing their best to try and support the field sales team, for sure. I think there's more to it than people think. That's for sure. I don't think that's just fundraisers who think that. I think that's a lot of people within the company and in industry. But yeah, there's a little bit more to it than you'd expect. But no, I think we do a good job as well trying to explain it to people when they ask questions about it as well.
Like now.
Yeah.
So what do you think, sort of describe the types of things that venues, what do you do in a day, on a daily basis? Is there such a thing as a typical day, or is it all a bit random and reactional?
So obviously we are operational, so all things sort of change, all sort of things happen. For example, this week, there's been a lot of what we call adverse weather out there, high wind speeds, lots of rain. So at the start of the week, we had to look at what was booked and where our fundraisers were and who was going to be outside and how we were going to replace those days and replace those fundraisers. Replace where the fundraisers were going to go. So part of my role is I look at the weather, I highlight where the issues are going to be, come up with a strategy, connect with the field management team, check that we have, make sure we are both aligned about how we want to go about tackling this situation, and then we put into place what we need to do. So we then open up our different booking streams and we focus on how best to make sure fundraisers are going to be nice and dry and also achieve their targets.
So how does that, do you have like a reservoir of venues that you just can tap into and call up and go, look, have you got space today? How does it work?
Yeah, so we obviously have an existing tranche of venues that we go to and we work, but obviously, if you then say we need them short notice and it's the weather's bad, so you've got to be inside, then that set of venues becomes a lot shorter than it was originally. You can also pay for venues, you can pay for shopping centres, so forth. So you need to work out whether that's a good investment. And sometimes you just got to go and try and find some new venues. So I would basically talk to the booking sources that we have, so venue finders, venue bookers, AVS team, and go, we need to do this, and then we would leave them to sort that out to the best of their ability.
So what happens if you've knocked on all the doors and it's like, sorry, we're full up and there's no space? What happens in that event?
That's never happened in the whole time I've worked here. We've always made sure that the fundraisers have got somewhere to go and work the next day. So whether that's whether that means at the end we had to pay for an expensive venue to make sure they can carry on working, or whether we just called in one last favour, we'll just keep going. Genuinely, in the 6 years I've been here, we've
So
made sure.
is there a chance of us making a loss then if we're paying down the nose for a venue and the fundraiser's not able, for example, if they have low footfall, does that happen?
Does that happen? It might happen on a individual day-by-day basis, but it doesn't happen over a month or annually.
Right, I feel like I've grilled you enough on that one.
If that makes sense.
I think so. So I mean, I think I know what you're going to say to this, but what are the biggest challenges that the venue department face?
The biggest challenges that the venue department face are supermarkets or retail stores policies on direct debits.
I thought you were going to say the weather.
That's a secondary problem, but the main one is direct debits.
What's the problem?
Apart from, if you take away Morrison's, every single supermarket chain in the UK does not officially allow direct debit fundraising. But yeah, we undertake direct debit fundraising.
So, oh gosh, so that is a difficult workaround then. How do you work around that?
So we work around it by going in at a local level. So what we do is we go into individual. So if we can't contact head offices, they say no. So what we do is, that's why we have a venue finder team and a venue booker team. What they're doing is they're building individual relationships with store managers, community champions, and working on them to allow us to have our bookings. We obviously then also have to be compliant. We can't just say that we're raising awareness or we're doing cash. So we have to tell them that we are doing direct debits, so they're aware. And that compliance is very important. So not only do we tell them when we make the booking, we also then send them a letter in the post detailing that we're doing direct debit fundraising, and then we ring them 4 weeks before the booking to reconfirm that we're doing direct debit fundraising.
Right, so you're definitely getting that message home, and that's a very important element, because obviously if the fundraiser was to rock up at a supermarket and be told no, that's comes back on you, right?
Absolutely. So that's why we have to be, not only on us, on our clients. We're representing
absolutely.
clients, so they need to know that we're doing everything compliantly. So we do. But yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the stores don't allow us to undertake direct debit fundraising. But yeah, we still do.
Well, I did not know that. You learn a new thing every day. So which other departments do you work most closely with in Charity Link?
We end up working with a lot of different departments. I would say we work with pretty much all of them. Obviously, so we work with finance when it comes to billings and invoicing, and also when it comes to certain elements of payroll for fundraisers, because we have to authorize certain things like turnaways and OPG and gazebo allowances. We obviously we're very connected with recruitment when it comes to how where we want our fundraisers in the country and how fast we can bring them on. We obviously talk to IT a lot, because we're always looking to try and make changes or improvements as we go along, smooth out some processes. And then also we obviously speak to field support, because when it comes down to shows, or vans, or so there's we have to come up with plans with vans. How often, how many vans are we going to have out in the country at one point? Are we going to have more in certain times of the year? Or for example, we went out to Jersey this year, right? We need to go out to Jersey. How much is that going to cost? Can we cost up some flights? And then obviously when it comes to client services, we obviously work with client services both on mystery shops, making sure our rotas are compliant, so that our mystery shoppers know where our fundraisers are. Also when it comes to client targets and client wishes as well when it comes to certain store types, because certain charities won't allow us to book certain stores.
Yeah, good grief. You really do work with absolutely everybody except comms.
Well, but yeah, here we are.
And
here we are,
yet here we are bonding. And
Absolutely.
and I was going to say it must be very handy, given your need to speak with IT, that your boss, Layla, is also the IT director.
Absolutely.
Win-win.
Yeah. It is a win-win, yes, definitely.
Direct access, love it. So let's draw it back to sort of you, Jonathan, as an individual. Like, what motivates you at work?
I enjoy the commercial side of what we do. I like to look at the numbers, the figures, the performance. I like it when I or me and the team make a decision, and off the back of that decision, the fundraiser has a great week, and they manage to achieve their targets. So for me, it's producing a strong set of venues or strong set of rotas that the fundraisers can then achieve their targets, and obviously our clients' targets as well.
Yeah, I mean, so it's I remember sort of talking to Beth from Client Services a little bit about this, because she, as she is one step closer, I think, to the client than I am. Obviously, you know, that she works directly so closely with them and their campaigns, and she's designing the collateral that the fundraisers use and stuff. But it's very satisfying thinking that something that you do is helping somebody to help the client, you know. So although you're not directly raising money for that charity, you are enabling the fundraisers to do the best that they can, and that's satisfying in itself.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you know, working with our field force, because obviously they are you know, that they have their targets and aims they want to achieve, and making sure that the fundraisers can achieve what they're hoping to achieve in a week as well. That's very satisfying for us as well, because they're our team, aren't they? And they're our people, so we want them to have good weeks and months and years.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, happy fundraisers mean happy us, head office, right? If the fundraisers aren't happy, nobody's happy.
It's the overall aim is to try and keep the fundraisers happy.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, 100%. So I mean, for you, I think we've touched upon it a little bit already, but what is the day that you look back on and you go, oh, that was a really, really tough day for me? Like, what makes your day kind of like one of those, oh, when is the weekend type of days?
It's going to be the weather situation. That's going to be the one. As it is the one where you have a summer's week in the middle of August or something, or as it's been a miserable summer this year, and then everyone is outside in town centres or they're outside of shows, as is completely logical and as they should be. And we look at the weather forecast, and you have to basically start from scratch and move everyone out of their venues and rebook everyone else their new venues at very, very short notice.
So on a dry day, when it's kind of like literally perfect fundraising weather,
yeah,
like say 22 degrees, you know, it's all good, I bet you're just kicking back, you know, hands behind your head, like,
yeah,
get another coffee.
Unfortunately, the amount of phone calls would somehow dispute that fact. I would not like to look at them. I speak to my team managers, God bless them, love them to bits, but they're on my. I speak to them a lot.
There's always something else, always more.
That's when we're looking at strategy. That's when we're looking at trying to open up new venues, get into new places, looking at what hasn't been booked for a while. What else can we get into? Where can we open up the venue pool? Where can we get some new? So that's when we're looking at strategy and making sure that we're always trying to like get new venues or you know, so people aren't going back to the same sort of places. So that's what we're doing then when the weather's dry.
So since COVID, has there been a depletion or reduction in outdoor events like festivals? And I mean, have you noticed, are there still new festivals coming up that you can sort of get straight in there, or what's your thought on that?
I'm not the perfect person to speak to on shows, because obviously Julie Mellor's a show manager and the show team. So for that question, they would be best to answer. What I would say is we still go to an awful lot of shows, and they all seem not all of them, but majority seem very well attended still. So I don't know if COVID's had a massive footfall impact in that way or not, but I don't feel like it does, but that I could definitely be wrong.
So moving on, if your department, as I was going to say, have you spoken to anyone in the department about this interview? Did you get any, or is this all okay? So Jonathan, I'm going to ask you as an individual in that case, if you could give 3 awards, what would those awards be for, and who would you give them to? Anyone in the company, other than me?
Of course. Well, I'm gonna give the 3 awards, but then I'm gonna wuss out. I'm not gonna call out people.
Oh, come on.
No, I genuinely, as a department, we all are very commercially minded. We all have a very joint sense of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. So I don't think
they don't have to be in your department, you know, the awards can be anyone in the company. Even still standing strong.
Still going to stand strong. But if you want the, I took it very much as a departmental thing when I read the question. So I will still say the 3 things that I think in our team, which is good, is attention to detail. I think that's, if we get that award, it's because we send fundraisers across the country with postcodes, places have not been before. If we get that wrong, that's bad. Sounds so simple. Providing a good customer service. We are basically the field force's customers. They are our customer. We have to provide them with good customer support, good customer service. So obviously, when people do that brilliantly, that's always very much appreciated by everyone. And then it's going the extra mile. It's a classic, it's a cliche, but sometimes the easiest booking is not the best booking to make. And a lot of our team will spend that little bit longer, or they'll be calling after hours if to try and get the fundraiser at perfect venue.
Yeah, no, I was going back to that first one. I think, yeah, there's can't be many things worse than going on a long drive, getting to a venue and then going, where am I? I can't find it. The postcode's wrong. I'm standing on the top of some hill and I should be, outside some building. Yeah, no, I think that could definitely set the whole day off to a bad start.
It would, yeah. I think that would put most people in a negative mindset.
I mean, attention to detail, I don't know. I mean, I think HR could snatch that, given all their policies that they have to.
Oh, definitely. I was just
they might have to steal that from you.
I think it very much as a department what we were aiming to achieve.
I'm teasing you. You're being very diplomatic. Very diplomatic. You could definitely be a politician, Jonathan.
I don't think I could. I think I'm too honest.
So what's the most common question that you get from our fundraisers?
I think the most common question from our fundraisers is, can we try and book X? And because you drive past a busy store, you think, wow, that was great. Why can't we get in? And I think that's such a natural thought process for the fundraisers to think, especially as we do get into all store types. So why could we get into an Asda in one town but we can't get into another town? So the most common question is, can we try and book X, Y, or Z? Yeah,
no, that makes sense. And I guess it must be frustrating. I mean, so what would generally be the reason that you couldn't get into a venue? Is it like what you were saying earlier, just because they have rules about, direct debits?
So you have direct debits. You have people that want to support their own charity. There are people that certain stores get told they can have certain charities from head office, but they can only have that charity. Sometimes the store manager just doesn't want anyone in his foyer or anyone in his shop. So it's all those sort of reasons we get a lot of no's. The majority will always be direct debits.
And I suppose other bookings, taking up that space.
Of course, other places being there, other promotions.
So sure. What is your dream venue, if you like? I know I'm going off kilt with the questions here, but if you could sort of choose the perfect venue, would it be like Glastonbury Festival, or, I mean, I know you don't do shows as
I think some of the shows are massive. I think they're brilliant. They're definitely one of probably are still our most highest performing venue type shows. So shows are always brilliant. And then after that, it's just the giant supermarkets, the massive Tesco's, the massive Sainsbury's, the massive Asda's, the massive Waitroses.
Just where there's tons of people.
Tons of people going in and out all day long. That's what people love.
Yeah. So I think we've touched upon impact on venues thanks to the cost of living crisis, sort of thanks to COVID. But what about impact on venues because of the cost of living crisis? Are we seeing less people at venues because they're saving their pennies, or it's less affordable now because prices have gone up? What are your thoughts on that?
The two main things where the cost of living crisis has had an obvious impact on venues is one, stores shutting down. Wilko's have just gone, well, near enough gone this week.
Yeah. Did we have Wilko's then?
Yeah, we booked Wilko's. Yeah, definitely. So no, we not loads of them, but we do book them. So suddenly now you can't book any. Well, there's a lot less Wilko's you can book.
Yeah.
And if there's less booked, then if there's less shops, less people go to certain places because those shops don't exist. And the other thing that I've heard more of or seen more of is more supermarkets are definitely doing fundraising or they're doing more food bank collections.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that does make sense. And then they don't want the double whammy, the too many people asking for too many things,
or even space in foyers because someone's collecting for the food bank, so they don't have space for our fundraisers.
Yeah.
But again, it's not lots and lots of that, but I've just noticed a small increase over the last few months.
It's reminding me, just yesterday I saw a post on a local community board asking people, we are desperate for more tinned tomatoes, we're really low on baked beans, can you please donate if you're able? It's getting quite serious because so many more people are dependent or reliant, and it's worrying. So if you had a magic wand, what would you change for the venue? If you could just be like, oh, let's just instantly make that easy. Would it just be a sunny day every day? Would it be that suddenly every supermarket says, yes, of course, direct debits, come on in anytime you like?
Both of those things immediately, bang, bang.
You're only allowed one.
Oh, direct debits then can deal with.
Is it? That's your biggest headache by a mile.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving across to sort of more broadly about Charity Link, what or how do you think Charity Link is different to other agencies from what you know?
We are, from what I understand, we are bigger. We have more flexibility. We have, to be blunt about it as well, we because we are bigger, we sometimes we appear to have a very healthy ability to book venues that other agencies might not be able to afford. And I think those are probably the main things. We seem bigger. We've got probably a wider range of clients than most other charities or agencies, and I think it's our size. I think that's our main selling point.
I know that certainly since COVID and the resulting cost of living crisis, quite a few of the smaller agencies have gone down. So it's just not sustainable.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's we are busy. We are also in demand, which is fantastic. So if you could choose, we're nearing the end now, Jonathan, doing a fantastic job. And if you could choose our next charity partner, which charity would you go for and why?
I would probably go for Cats Protection. I think
Cats Protection. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're massive, big visibility. People really know them, and people love cats. People love animal charities.
Do you love cats?
I detest cats. On a
what?
level.
You can't.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, they don't make it easy sometimes. What, are you more of a dog person or no pets?
No pets. Not a pet guy. Not a pet guy. No.
You're not a pet guy. It's because you haven't had one. Did you have a dog when you were growing up or anything?
No.
See, this
I've
is
got a family with dogs, but not enough to want to. They're fine.
Be careful what you say here. We've got a lot of dog lovers in our company.
I know we do.
It's practically a crime to say that. I'm going to have to bring my dogs round and just, they'll have to lick you or something until you submit.
No problem with dogs. I enjoy it. I'm happy to have the dogs around. I like it. It's a nice little cool thing in the office, but it's not my
So
thing.
you don't, would you get to see Lenny every day?
Yeah.
Lenny the office dog, and he doesn't bring, a smile to your heart? No.
Uh,
So cold.
Doesn't no, not cold, just doesn't
Doesn't hit the button.
leaves me ambivalent.
Yeah.
I don't notice if he's in or not.
Fair enough. So your choice of charity would be purely from a practical, commercial perspective, just because
absolutely.
basically they are big. Interesting. So personally, what is your favorite thing about working for Charity Link?
I love my department. We're a fun department. I enjoy working together. I enjoy working with the venues team and the field team. I enjoy that linked upness between the field management team and our department. And I enjoy working on the department when we're in the office. We all get on, and yeah, I enjoy. That's one of the reasons I've been here for nearly coming up to 6 years now.
Gosh, is it 6 years? Happy sixth
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
I feel like that is really a common theme cross-departmentally in Charity Link, that everybody loves their team. I mean, I love the people team as well. It's just, there's such a bunch of good eggs, and we all just rub along so well. We seem to have similar humor, and there's a lot of there's just good energy between us. And I feel like when I interviewed Beth from Client Services last week, it was the same story from her. She was just, I just love my team. They're such great people to work with, and so it feels like it feels like good vibes at Charity Link. Happy people. So the final question, we have reached that. What do you think Charity Link does particularly well?
I think that so such a broad question, isn't it? So many ways you could go down and answer that question. I took it from a people perspective. I think from a member of staff working at Charity Link, I think it's really good at enabling people. I think Charity Link is good at letting people own their role, do their job, and do it well.
Yeah, nice.
I think that's true. Definitely when it comes to venues, for sure. It allows people to own their stuff and be good at it.
Take ownership, be responsible, grow.
Personal responsibility, grow, own your area, own your patch, know your job, know it inside out.
Love that. Yeah, nice, really nice. Well, that's the end of this interview, Jonathan. You've made it a breeze, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as well.
It was good. Yeah.
Do tell the rest of their news team thank you too for any input that they've given, and we will look forward to seeing them office side.
Of course. No, it was good. It's always good to understand what other people, the jobs, and I think I would describe working for Charity Link is it's the most, on paper, the most simple job in the world. You just make sure people have places to go to work until you start putting in people, weather, and clients and shops into the mix, and then it becomes very complicated very fast.
I think most jobs you could say exactly the same. It's just like on one, if you summed up your role in one sentence, it's like, oh, that sounds all right. And then when you get down to it, it's like, oh, this is a nightmare. This is really, there's a lot of, nothing's ever easy though, is it? Always, it's kind of like, I'm just going to go and do that. And then it's like, oh no, I can't do that until I've done that. Well, that's a problem because of that. And now, and before you know it, you've got like 12 problems. And all you wanted to do was to go from A to B.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's always, but then if it was simple, the job wouldn't exist.
Well, 100%. And let's hope, this has cast fresh light on the role of venues and hopefully some greater understanding about all of the good work you guys are doing.
We do our best.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of The Daily Fundraise. We hope you enjoyed the session, and we really look forward to you joining us next time.